Hello and welcome to the Standards of Geekness podcast page. Today we're going to be doing some Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel gameplay, featuring a variety of Platinum level play. We hit Platinum 1 really early in the month, and we've been having a lot of fun with the events. I will say the normal rare event was a lot better than the Synchro event. But without further ado, we will be starting with this match here. This match here, it'll be us playing Tri-Brigade Zoo versus Pure Tri-Brigade. It's the first time I've actually encountered this deck within Platinum. I'd much rather play against this than, the DD Dynamite, BS. We open up with a somewhat average hand. We're going second, no hand trap, so it's a little bit of a gamble. Here, it's mostly just kind of plinking away at what our opponents can do. Drawing the Fractal really helps. It lets us establish our play. Lightning Storm being really clutch here, destroying his spells and traps, and impermanence and a call by. Fractal, he ashes. We're fine with that. He's down to 2 cards. We have 4. So here, we're just going to do our Zoodiac play. Okay, he has the other hand trap. We had poke for 16. We set a back row. Now, a lot of people will go into Trident here, and I don't disagree with that, but I also really don't like giving my opponents cards. But in this situation, now I'm free to do it, and no fear of hand traps. The one back row is most likely probably an impermanence or a call by. We're going to go ahead and start it off and see what our opponent can do. Here we go into Tiger Mortar, which is underrated. It's way better than Hammer Kong. I don't know why people play that, even in Pure Zoo. I understand, I guess, why, but I'm not a fan of that card. And that's just, main phase 2, we go into Zeus. Put it in defense mode, that way we protect ourselves from their lightning storms. Activate the effect, popping the back row. We get a concession here. All in all, it's not a good game for them, but, it displays the power of the Zoodiac engine and why it really kind of lends its credibility to the mirror. Alright, and our next game is going to be against Tri-Brigade Lyrosol, another top-tier deck. It's a lot of fun. I have this deck personally built myself, so without further ado, it's a relatively short game, so we will go ahead and play through. Alright, our opponent's opening up. We draw a hand trap this go around. It'll be a little bit different than against the... Ooh, he opens with Barrier Statue. Okay, so there's a lot of plays we could do here, but I think it's just safer to Desires here. Try to bait out any hand trap they might have, which they do. We kind of cursorily check through a lot of what our opponent's doing throughout the game. We also check our exile. This lets us force through the Fractal, get our kit going, setting up Nerval. This really lets us just kind of set up the plays we want, and then we get the concession. It's not a good game for them again, but I just want to kind of display what I'm seeing within the Platinum ranks. I do think people concede a little too quickly. I think, honestly, they could be better off just kind of waiting out. I don't know what he had in his hand, but yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoy the next match. Alright, guys, and then this will be a match against Trap Trick Burn. Really interesting gameplay. I actually never really encountered this version of the deck, especially within the Platinum ranks. I had seen something similar spectating some games before, but it was really interesting to watch it kind of flow and just kind of how it worked. In the dark, this hand is an okay going second hand. Again, we wish we would see better things, but they get their thing going. I max Scene Response here mostly because I know that this deck can sometimes special summon out a couple things, and the Trap Trick variants I've seen before They sometimes go into link monsters and will be a little more explosive. But when I see Dark Room and Nightmare, I'm like, oh boy. We end up drawing here. Nibiru is kind of a blank in this matchup. They're never going to summon more than 1 or 2 monsters a turn. I think by the end of this, they end up getting us down to about 5,000 or 4,000. Dark Room and Nightmare is a really, really underrated card. I had a lot of fun playing with it at locals back in the day. Okay, we take another 200 there. Take some more damage there because just what it does. Alright. We Tenki. They Ash, excuse me. We Call by the Grave. We really want to apply the pressure, and with burn decks, you always want your your foot on the gas, excuse me. So we grab Tenki, grab Thurblade. Here, the reason I go for Thurblade instead of any of the Tri-Brigade monsters is I'm trying to really reduce their ability to keep punishing me for adding cards to my hand. With this, I can kind of just go into my plays and just, basically blow up their board and have a really big threat that, you'll see the interesting line of play here. Here, we just want to attack over it. We're trying to get the missions, so that's why you see us attacking the monster instead of hitting for 17. But still, 100 damage, plus we get rid of their monster. We Trident. Now here, I guess I could have popped one of these, but I really wanted to set up this Zeus. They have Ghost, Ogre, and Snow Rabbit, which will destroy our Zeus, but we're able to chain its effect again. And this really, really, really hurts them. Their ability to really do anything from this point. Now with Imperial Order, them being a burn deck, unless they have more traps than I realize, this is really, really going to hurt them. Here, I know they're going to activate their effect. The reason I revolt here is to just try to get this off the field and really kind of just slow down any momentum they could have. I love these little animations. We go into Shurg here. Take another 200 up. Yeah, I believe it was 48 or 4,000, something like that. Alright, they bring out a spell. We banish their monster. They play the spell. We Imperial Order. Here, it's one of those things where we're just applying pressure. We get the concession. Really intriguing deck, honestly. I might just build this for fun, just to kind of play around with my friends. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It kind of displays the power level of Imperial Order. I will say, again, that card carried me to Plat 1. It is so powerful. If you can be playing it, please play it. Alright, with our next game, this is going to be a very intriguing Danger Engine with Dark World. It has Cyberstein. I've only played against something similar like once or twice before. They usually fizzle out pretty hard, but they were putting up quite a fight. You'll see here through the gameplay. I'm pretty sure I roughly draw about half my deck. Knowing the Danger Engine, I just fire off the Max C just because, if I draw Nibiru, there's a little bit of a chance they could try to deck me if they have the absolute, nut draw. But getting rid of Desires, knowing I'm probably not even going to need it, is pretty crucial here. Chicken Game with their Danger Engine. We Ash here just to kind of slow them down, or at least I think I'm going to slow them down. We do not slow them down. we do not. Hindsight probably should have saved the Ash for maybe like Avarice. Knowing a little more of how the deck plays throughout this game, I would probably definitely do that. In terms of what they're doing, they do some really, really powerful stuff. Here they're going to skip their draw phase to draw 2. That card's just insane. They're going to bring out the Danger Baboon, Bigfoot, Serpent. Zephyr's going to let them continue. You know, we're drawing, you know, kind of dead, but in a way, they're going to play out their game no matter what we do. It's just important for us to just draw the gas we need when we need it. This card was something that I really, really think that more decks should be really exploring, especially like ones that have similar attributes. It just kind of really, really lets you set up. And Goki Pole was something that was very interesting, but given the fact that they play Mothman, it lets them tutor it out. This deck's just, it's brilliant. In my opinion, it's probably the fastest engine I think I've seen in a really, really long time. That said, it is a glass cannon. Scary Skull Dead, another Mothman. So we're just loading up and waiting for our time to draw Nibiru, assuming we draw it. And then they're just going to keep turboing through their whole deck. Drawing 2 cards, Dark World Dealings. Just gonna... Oh, actually, at one point our hand gets so large I'm having trouble seeing it on my screens. Okay, we draw the Nibiru. This is kind of at the point where I feel like I need to pull the trigger. Maybe in hindsight I shouldn't have. I should have waited till they end their turn. Just to really kind of force them into doing stuff, but I wanted to be able to kill the token too. Given the amount of cards they've drawn, though, there's no way they couldn't use it. Pitching Armageddon Knight. Now we draw Imperial Order. So, realistically, if we're able to go off... This is turn 1 of the game, so they can't attack me. They flip the Avarice here. I believe they go through all 3 Avarices, or maybe they go through 2 or 3 of them. It's just really, really interesting how consistent this seems to be. But in the end, it's not really going to matter, but it's also something that's like really interesting. And yes, I am a Yugi boomer. I stopped playing in 2012, 2013 during the Mermail, right before like Dragon Lords became a thing. Here he goes into Cyberstein for Century of Exterio, trying to set up a lock basically. This card, we end up drawing... Oh, I forget. I think it's... We end up getting Infinite Impermanence to basically like let us play through that. And there's a reason I do what I do here. Forces that, and then I Forbidden Droplet. That's going to meet the concession. You know, this deck's really, really interesting. I feel like it's just missing one key piece. I almost think that maybe if they'd gone into something like Last Warrior from Another Planet to like nuke the Nibiru setup,